Just laugh, dude.
What What is happening, guys? This is Here the Spear, presented to you by Knoll Game Day. We are here at 11:42 p.m. Saturday night after Florida State's primetime matchup with the Miami Hurricanes, number 12 in the country. And Florida State just lost 52-10. It really wasn't a game even heading into the second quarter. And I'm here with my guys. Let me go introduce my co-host with me this evening, Austin Beasy, our lead basketball writer, who is probably pretty excited for basketball season after seeing that. And then also our man, Nate Greer, who initially at the start of the season expected Florida State to win by 70 or like 60 points. That's my man, Nate Greer.
82.
But yeah, that's pretty much it, boys. First reactions. Let's just get first reactions, raw reactions after Florida State's loss.
I'm numb. Like this, by the time the second quarter hit, I'm like, well, here we go again. 4 years in a row where we just completely suck. And this is a different level of suck. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, 60 days. 60 more days.
Till what? Till what?
Basketball season. We're almost there.
Well, I went from yelling so loud that I scared my dog, who went upstairs to hide, to complete silence, and my wife made me cupcakes or muffins because she knew how pissed off I was going to be. So,
that's a perk of being married.
I just sat there in fucking silence of 52 points, the most scored by any team in this rivalry, in the history of this rivalry.
Yeah, that's
and the game wasn't that close.
It never felt close. Even after the first drive, I mean, Miami just went down with ease on their first drive. And even our first drive, which was scripted, we looked all right, but it was still clunky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Am I muted or no? Yeah, I'm not muted. Let's just look at it straight as it is. I don't think there's much really to go in from series by series, quarter by quarter. Let's just start
the defense, man.
Well, yeah, the zone continued to be a trend. I mean, it didn't work against Georgia Tech, and you see it again against Miami, which we talked about on the instant reaction 2 weeks ago, gentlemen. I mean, Austin and Nate, we talked about this, and they said it's probably not going to work against Miami, and here we are. But from the start of it, I mean, actually after Florida State's first drive, which I think every game in Florida State history the last 2 years, Florida State looks pretty solid on the first drive. And then, once there's not scripted plays being there, it's a complete cluster F. And Florida State's offense couldn't find anything. And, this just wasn't a competitive game. Let's just put it how it is. This wasn't a competitive from after the first quarter one bit after Florida State's first drive. Miami was able to take care of Florida State's defense. There was no defensive line, which we were hoping. I think a lot of Florida State fans were. We talked about it. Where was Marvin Wilson against Georgia Tech? Where was Corey Durden? Where was Robert Cooper? Nothing whatsoever.
So Corey Durden is the epitome of what Florida State football is right now. So he makes a play, talk shit, and then gets blown off the ball on fourth down. Just completely washed out. They run right at him. He gets washed out. Doesn't make a play. Why you're talking shit when you're down 6 touchdowns is beyond me. That just shows that what this team is all about. Defensively, I don't want to see 21 can opt out. He hasn't done shit. Durden can go ahead and opt out. They need to go full on youth movement. Even though the game was not close, the youth fought their asses off.
They really did. Even in the first half, I thought Steve Dix Jr., when he was missing plays, he was still there. The instincts were really good. He just got to finish off those plays, and he was fighting.
Yeah, Travis J, I thought played a really good game. Him going off on crutches could be a huge loss.
Yeah, no, that's huge. He puts himself in the position, man. He had one bad missed tackle, but at least he's there making the right reads. But the really bad part about it is you lose a true freshman. He didn't get to see any playing time last year, but he's on crutches that you see in the fourth quarter, and that's not great whatsoever looking forward.
No, I liked what I saw from Gant. I thought Gant played really
Gant was
hard.
really good towards the end of the game.
Say it again.
I said Gant was really good at the end of
Yep.
the game.
Dix. I thought he played well throughout the game. I'm even liking what I'm seeing from Ray. I liked what I saw from him, and I'm liking Griffiths. He's not necessarily Josh Kano on the hoof, but at least he plays better. He gives effort. I know they went youth movement because the game was over, but I think they need to go youth movement moving forward and take your lumps. The season's over.
Whoa. Season's over. 2 games in.
Yes, the season's over, dude. Anyone who can look at that game and look how uncompetitive this team is and think that Florida State's going to win more than 3 games, it is out of their fucking mind.
Yeah,
and that's me. That's me too.
And it's after Jacksonville State next weekend. It's brutal. I mean,
Yes.
At Notre Dame, North Carolina, at Louisville, Pitt. I mean, there's no realistic wins there. There's not.
No. Maybe Louisville isn't, worth a shit, but Florida State's defense. We'll see how it looks in 4 to 5 weeks. But who are they going to stop? When's the last time every quarterback that played threw an interception in a game?
Jameis, DeAndre, maybe.
No, all 3.
Yeah, I've never seen 3 quarterbacks on the same team.
That's okay.
That's borderline.
Yeah,
all 3.
You
all
have,
3,
yes.
and Travis was just, what are you doing, dude?
Just take the sack.
Take the
Who
sack.
is it? Who, Blackman?
No, Travis is.
Jordan Travis is.
I mean, the play in itself was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like an end around to your second string quarterback who can't throw a ball, and now he's 20 yards in the backfield. Like, What is that?
Yeah. It was you kind of get to the feeling now, and I'm just kind of talking for Florida State fans now. You kind of feel like every play is probably going to be a cluster F for Florida State. And do you guys get that feeling too? Like you feel like the next play defensively for Florida State is going to come, and offensively. I guess I should. I mean, offensively, defensively, the next play is about 80% chance of being a complete cluster F. It's not going to be successful.
The first drive in the second half, that even though we were moving the ball, every single play looked like it was going to be a 6-yard loss, and then someone would bust out a 6-yard run just out of nowhere. Like it felt like that entire drive, and even the second drive when we were moving the ball before throwing the pick, it seemed like mistakes waiting to happen over and over and over.
Mm-hmm. James Blackman, Tate Rodemaker, and Jordan Travis get burned at quarterback. It seems like Chuba Purdy's still not fully 100%. It seems like he's getting there. Most certainly, he had warm-ups before the game, but you're not going to be nobody's going to be surprised whatsoever if he's going to get burned during the Jacksonville State game. Lawrence Toafili seems like to be the future at quarterback.
Yeah, he looked really good.
Yeah.
I want to say this real quick. So the last 7 games are national TV for Florida State. 2018, Miami lost 28-27. They were up 27-7. 2018, Clemson 59-10. 2018, Florida 41-14. 2019, Clemson 45-14. Last year, 2019, Miami 27-10. 2019, Florida 40-17. This year, 35-3 at the half, losing to Miami, lose 52-10. It all starts with those Jimbo recruits. They're at the tail end of their time at Florida State. You got 3 years of talking about 4 or 5-star players emerging, taking that next step, and they haven't done anything. This is it's the worst damn game I've seen. I'm 42 years old. This is the worst damn game I've ever seen. This is worse than Oregon. This is worse than 30-0 Wake. This was horrible.
Mm-hmm. I completely respect your thoughts on that because you're obviously older than us. I mean, you're a young man. You still look like a young man. You're still a young man.
Yeah.
But
I'm so fruitful. Still.
We're the
But-
two youngins on here, but tell us how it is. You know more than us.
And then you got Tamarion Terry calling Ron Dugan's a fuckboy after he gets a personal foul. He can go ahead and he can opt out too. You know, I'm glad they benched his ass after that. That's just unacceptable.
Yeah, I did see that altercation. That was after he was talking trash with Miami DB.
They had the offsetting personal fouls with DJ Ivy.
Yep, and he was talking trash with on the sideline actually with Ron Dugan's Florida State's wide receiver coach.
Called him a fuckboy.
Is that what it looked like through the screen?
Yeah.
You think he was saying that the Miami guy was I'm trying to stay optimistic in most parts.
I try to be optimistic. Hopefully he is, but there's a reason why they sat his ass.
Well, let's look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Tamarion Terry is not in your top 9 of receiving that game.
Yep.
I mean, what else do we need to say about that? I mean, from that game, Marvin Wilson's got another year. He will be here in 2021, and Tamarion Terry will be unless for some reason their agent gives them a beautiful pitch that they're going to be going into the league.
Mm-hmm.
Tamarion Terry will be another year, and Marvin Wilson will be another year. Those two are solidified. Yeah,
they played their way into another year of college.
Yeah, they got another year. Yeah, they've got.
And then you had the walking wet dream killer of Bavion Johnson. Every time you have a significant play coming up where you're inside the 10, false start.
After the second one, he's tapping his helmet like, "Yeah, I need to think more." Yeah, you like.
No shit, you're a fifth-year senior.
Yeah, what are you doing, man? Like, to me on offense, there's only like three players even worth mentioning. That was Toafili, who we've already talked about. I thought Cam McDonald had a pretty solid game.
Yes,
he looked really good. And then even though Tate Rodemaker had that one interception, that second, or I guess the third drive technically, the third drive he had a couple nice throws. The back shoulder to Poitier.
Yep.
He had another good one.
I will say that. Yeah, I will say that the players that did anything were the ones that were trying. I mean, Cam McDonald. I mean, the second half. I mean, by that time, Miami's putting in second, third stringers. I mean, I just got to say it how it is. I mean, they're facing second string cats. I mean, they're the ones that are trying to like put points on the board, but still, I mean, obviously, Cam McDonald 6 reception, 58 yards, but that's crazy. That's your leading receiver at 58 yards.
Going into the fourth quarter, only 2 wide receivers had receptions.
Yes,
and it was Keyshawn Helton 1 reception for 2 yards, and it was I think Pookie Wilson with 2 receptions for like 8 yards.
Yeah,
can someone listen to what Austin just said? Yeah. Can you repeat that back for us? Run it back one time. How many yards, please, heading into the second half?
1 reception for 2 yards for Keyshawn Helton, and I think it was 2 receptions for 8 or 9 yards for Ontario Wilson. I think that was it for receivers going into the fourth.
Can we have like a still 5-second just sit back kind of situation? Just listen to that. I mean that is that right there is a. I don't know, Nate. I really don't. You've been around the program. You've covered it longer than us. Doubled our time covering it.
I've never seen anything as inefficient.
You want to know what's more impressive? Jordan Travis had more receptions than Tamarion Terry.
Yes.
1 reception for 5 yards.
Jordan Travis had one catch for 5 yards. And I did like how they used him. I know it was scripted. And I think him going out looked like he hurt his ankle, didn't really come back. Again, that's another playmaker that is out. But, if you're really looking at moving forward with this team is a bunch of mental midgets. They're soft. They don't know how to win. I know a bunch of people are talking about the coaching. And, you can talk about the 3 down linemen to start the game in the zone. A lot of those things are valid questions. You have to. I find it very hard to believe that Florida State called the same play on that jet sweep to Tamarion Terry after they showed what they're going to do, and they have a false start and they go back to the same play. I really hope that they're not that stupid.
No,
we can
Nate.
only hope.
Nate, I have to tell you that's what happened, and obviously Mike Norvell is not there.
Mhm.
Obviously, that's got to be like a tiny point into this kind of maybe Florida State's loss, but still, that shouldn't be the key factor on why Florida State got absolutely blown out. Not only blown out in the fourth, third, or quarter, heading into the half, Florida State was blown out.
They gave up 24 points in the second quarter. That's when the game is over. You can talk about coach. My whole point is that I was going to circle on. You can question some of the coaching decisions and some of the play calls, and Fuller has not lived up to an emerging star that he was built to be as a defensive coordinator. You really have to question what the defense is doing, but it doesn't matter. Any fucking coach is going to come in and do anything with this team because the players don't have any want to. You have all these 4 and 5 stars across the defense who have all this hype and read all their clippings. They're better at Twitter than they are at football, and that's a problem.
Mm-hmm. I will agree with you.
And for a guy like Marvin Wilson, who I want to call him Marvin Austin. I don't even want to call him by his name. Okay, I want to call him by the wrong name. But he does not. I wouldn't even start him right now. Like, that's how bad he's playing.
Marvin doesn't deserve to be able to call out the coaches at this point, like he did in the summer. We were always like, "Oh wow, look at this leader." He doesn't deserve that chance anymore.
No, they should all just shut up.
I looked at that whenever obviously Marvin Wilson got ejected from the game for targeting. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand. I don't know. I'm not a coach on the field whatsoever, but Marvin Wilson walked by Odell Higgins in the huddle there once he was announced that he was ejected. He walked through assistants there and just kind of went back to the sideline. No talking to, nothing, no kind of like, hey, that was probably a really bad idea, and we would really like to have you for the rest of the game, but you're going to have to do some up downs, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't seem like Odell Higgins is really there yet. And this is probably his last year or two, maybe last year. I don't think Odell Higgins is I think this is about it for him. Mm-hmm. So there's no defense. There was absolutely nothing. We talked to Everett Dawkins on our preview for this game, and I mean, the key for this game was Florida State's defensive line showing up. And once again, Corey Durden, I mean, I can't go name by name because we could do that for 2 hours.
We can do that all day.
We can do that for 2 hours, but defensive line once again not showing up, and Miami's offensive line is not spectacular. I mean, they're not great. They're not phenomenal. Look at them last year. They're not bringing back first, second, third round talent going to the NFL. Florida State's defensive line has been hyped up since heading into the next season from last year, and they have not performed, and nothing has been developed, and there was no pressure on King, barely any can contain, and I don't know. No defensive line play.
Yes.
FSU lost every facet of the game. Okay, so give up 517 yards. They 6.1 yards per play, 31 first downs, 11 for 17 on third down, 3 for 4 on fourth down. The 85 plays that Miami had, they had Florida State gave up 3 turnovers, and then as fast as Miami played, they still had more time in possession. They lose in every facet in this game, and it's really hard to watch.
Yeah, going back to the defensive line real quick, they finally uploaded all the defensive stats. Mm-hmm. Only one player on the defensive line finished with a tackle for loss, and it was Josh Griffiths with like 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The other 4 came from Raymond Woody, Steven Dix, Brendan Gant, and Amari Gaynor.
They had 0 push again.
Zero. And it's unbelievable. I mean, Marvin, Cooper, and Durden, those are some big guys. Like,
well, they're both
strong guys, and there's just no push at all. It drove me nuts.
Yeah, no. Not only are they big boys, they ran the same amount of boys last year. I mean, they were the, in quote, mob from last year.
Mhm.
These are returning not only starters, but starting line on the defensive side. I know Kando's not there, wasn't expected to start or play this game, but you're still returning Corey Durden, Robert Cooper, Marvin Wilson, Janarius Robinson. Those guys have been there at Florida State. They have the experience, and there was nothing at all. And that not only from the Miami game, not even the Georgia Tech game, and nothing whatsoever. And that's something we talked about for the preview. If Florida State has any chance with competing against Miami's offense, that has to be there, because Florida State's linebacker play has been poor. When Adam Fuller is running zone, then therefore Miami's going to get a first down, because that's just the regular third and Fuller, third and Kelly, third and Barnett. That's just the usual way. So you got to rely on your Florida State defensive line that has had experience. You got Marvin Wilson, Corey Durden. I mean, I don't know. I already said it earlier, but I mean, Marvin's got another year in Tallahassee.
I hope he doesn't come back.
Well, unless some agents. I mean, I don't want to say anything, but
I really think this team needs a purge. And anyone who is from the Fisher Taggart era needs to move on, because that whole loser mentality.
We've been beating around that bush since Taggart's first year. You got to get all the Fisher guys out.
Yeah.
Now it just has to happen at this point. You got to get these guys out of there that like Nate said, they got this mental midget mentality. You got to get them out of here. It pisses everyone off. Why are they still in the game? These young guys are proving they want to fight. They have that want to at least put up some kind of effort. And then you got these guys out here that think they're the hottest thing since sliced bread and don't do anything except talk trash.
Yeah. No, the celebrating, I don't know who it was. I don't know anymore. But in the fourth quarter, after having a PBU,
yes.
Who was that? Was it Green? Was it Renardo?
That
was Jerry and Jones.
Okay.
And then he got hurt after celebrating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If that doesn't encapsulate Florida State, like, come on.
I mean, that's the thing that's why I tweeted. I said, this is where you're about to find out there's been any discipline. Obviously, Norvell's there, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to see who has a discipline and everything heading into the game, or heading into the second half, third quarter. Obviously, Florida State's not likely to win the game, but is there going to be discipline that you're going to see? Because we saw during the Willie Taggart era. I mean, you look at number 5 last year, Dontavius Jackson, man. I mean, they'd be down by 2 or 3 touchdowns by a team that they should be beating by 3 touchdowns on Florida State side, and be celebrating a big hit on a 3rd and 13 that the other team executes, and they get a first down. And that's something that you saw during the Willie Taggart era, and you start to see that during the second half for Florida State, and it's not an encouraging thing heading forward.
So we talked about leading into the game that Florida State had to make King a passer, and he picked FSU apart, dude, because they had no pass rush. Yeah, that's part of it, but I think some of it too is the scheme that was ran. You can sit here and just pick apart everything about Florida State right now, but they're hurting, and I think if they want to move forward, I'm someone that has a lot of faith in Norvell and his coaching staff. He's whether Florida State fans want to admit it or not. You have this 2 sides of the fence. You have the still Willie guys, and you have the guys who hate Norvell, and you have the guys that know that Norvell needs time, and they trust what he's going to do. I'm on that side. He's proven anywhere and everywhere he's been, from an assistant all the way through his time at Memphis, that he can make things happen. Whether it's coaching hires, whether it's offense, whatever it is, scheme, adjusting his scheme to a rushing attack or passing attack. I'm not worried about that. But my biggest worry now is the defense. There's too many damn good players on that side of the ball for them to be that horrible. And it's gotten worse every year since 2014. They haven't had a drop off in recruiting. DBU, all that stuff. The only thing that's lacked is a pass rush, and that's a major issue with this defense. But one more thing I gotta get off my chest is Warren Thompson should never play football at Florida State again. Him and his running his mouth, alligator arms. He got hit on that on that helmet to helmet. But the one opportunity he has, he drops, would have been a first down. He needs to go. Blackman, hopefully, we can celebrate in 2 weeks the end of the Blackman era. I don't care if it's Purdy. I don't care if it's Rodemaker. I don't care who it is. He should never be under center for anything meaningful for the state again.
So you think the Blackman time is done? Does everybody agree on this podcast right now? Instant reaction. Is the Blackman thing, is that over? Is that it?
It fucking better be.
I definitely think it's definitely we're reaching the end. After last week, I was like, I get it. We've only had we had a very limited summer, very limited fall. I get he's trying to learn new systems, but I get Rodemaker didn't look great, but he looked more confident and more poised than Blackman did.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have that and take the lumps with it.
It's even the body language.
Yeah.
I feel like Florida State and the staff there told Blackman. I mean, that's the thing. Did you guys see it too, where obviously Blackman goes back into that hump where he's having to get out of the pocket and he doesn't feel comfortable. He has happy feet and he rolls off to the right as usual. That's the usual thing. That's what he did against Georgia Tech. And then he did it again against Miami. And then heading into the fourth quarter or the third quarter, he was targeting people and trying to throw, and it looked like he was playing going after his targets, like actually making attempts to reach his guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I honestly understand. Of course, Blackman, he is not up to the average par of what Florida State needs at quarterback whatsoever. And Rodemaker is a true freshman heading to a rivalry, and he's going against second string Miami players, and he looked not too shabby, made a bad throw, made an interception, blah blah blah. But
that interception was by their starting safety. So
yeah,
and
I don't know.
And it was arguably defensive pass interference, and I like that he actually took the chance. I don't think Blackman passed the ball over 10 yards.
No.
Barely. I mean, if it was an incompletion.
And on those first few drives, he had guys open down the field. And like Austin said, just scramble out of the pocket. It's always going right. Always going right.
Even all the receivers on the left side, he's rolling right for no reason. I get that's his strong side, but, come on. Go where your receivers are. It makes it easier on both you and the receivers.
Yes. We
got to see a lot of young players during this game. We'll go for about another 5 minutes or so. But, we got to see a lot of young players. And there, obviously, we talked about Griffiths. He was a regular player throughout that whole game. But on an offensive side, first of all, hold up. Let me go there real quick. We'll go to that then. You got to see a scripted series by Blackman and Jordan Travis. And I actually thought that was pretty smooth. We saw some success watching the Ole Miss game. With Plumlee playing and their other quarterback, and that looked like an actual success on the offensive side for Lane Kiffin today. But that looked the same way for Florida State with James Blackman and Jordan Travis, and it was a nice drive. It should have turned into 6 points, blah blah blah. But that completely disappeared. I mean, that literally, we didn't see any of that heading into the rest of the game. You didn't see any of that, and I don't know. I mean, obviously that was a scripted series for Norvell and Dillingham, but what happened to that? I mean, that was successful. It was working. Florida State, during that series really wasn't even using any kind of running back play whatsoever, but it was working.
It's a shame.
Well, it's because you practice that half the week. You're practicing your first series, but I don't know if they just need to go with, the same 6 plays and line up in different formations. I don't know. But it starts up front. The offensive line was horrible tonight. Blackman was horrible tonight. That whole side of the ball was horrible when you look at the offensive line and the quarterback play. But the freshmen kind of segue into what you were going to say. I like seeing the receivers, I thought Portier made plays. Williamson out there coming off the ACL as a senior. I think he's a guy who can do really well in this offense. Douglas made a couple good plays. Again, effort plays, going down, getting the ball, running hard. I like seeing him. I'd like to see some Corey Wren on some jet sweeps. You have a guy who's legit track speed, but he hasn't played yet. Come on, what's going on?
No, I'm right there with you, Nate. I mean, at this point, I don't know. Run the guy that has had state speed. Let him, utilize his speed on offense. Most certainly special teams. This year is a complete wash with how you get another year eligibility, blah, 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 blah. When it comes to track, too, I don't know if he's running track at FSU. Is he running track at FSU this year, Corey Wren? Do you know, Nate? I know you interviewed him.
No, he's running. He plans on being the track athlete.
Okay. He just came off of a hot season during his high school year. Use him while he's hot with speed. He's gained weight, obviously, being through the strength and conditioning program. Take advantage of his speed, man, while he's got it. And I don't understand that. Even at least special teams, but definitely, you could use him in the offensive scheme. I don't know.
You use him fucking Tamara and Terry on a jet sweep.
And from what we were told on ESPN, guys, I didn't get to hear it, but the people I was watching the game with said that he was limited during this game.
Yeah, apparently he got injured versus Georgia Tech, which
he hurt his ankle.
No one else heard about that.
No one heard about that during the whole 2 weeks.
No one. He hurt his vagina. I've lost respect for him, man.
Well,
I know it's frustrating being your quarterback situation. I get it, but you're supposed to leader of this team, and there's no leadership on this team, and you can blame the coaches, but these players have to lead themselves. And Everett talked a little bit about that. Who's going to step up? No one has.
Yeah, let's jump in. We got about 5 more minutes, so let's jump in real quick. You're bringing up a good point here, and I tweeted this before the game. I think last night or early this morning. I tweeted about Florida State doesn't have alpha straight up dogs like they used to, and I named one on my tweet, which was Timmy Jernigan, and he most certainly was a dog, and he made plays and. He shouldn't be put in a tier anywhere close. And I don't know why people are tweeting me this, but he shouldn't be put anywhere close with Timmy Jernigan and Marvin Wilson. That those kind of tiers don't fit together whatsoever. I don't want anybody ever to tweet me at that again or talk to me on Instagram about it. Don't ever contact me again with those two names.
I think there's one dog for sure, and that's Travis J.
I think it's a mix of Travis J and Gaynor. I do think that, and I'm proud of Gaynor. I think he steps up, and he's been a dog. But Florida State needs a straight up. If you're going to be a dog at Florida State, you got to be able to trash talk, but also back it up. That's something Derwin James, Jalen Ramsey, LaMarcus Joyner, Telvin Smith, Timmy Jernigan. On the defensive side of the ball, those are guys that, for sure, let them talk trash. Let them talk trash. If they get a penalty on them, screw it. They're going to back it up and make plays and make up for it. But right now, there's not really anybody that does that. No big hitters, nobody that set the tone and create momentum for that defensive side of the ball. And right now, like you said, Travis J is your most talented guy, I think, that's on defense. And that's crazy. And that, what that is? That is practically a true freshman. He didn't see the ball one time last season. But that is the guy that's most talented, and he makes his reads right, and he still makes the right reads to fill his assignments.
But that's also recruit. That comes as part of the recruiting package with him. As much as I disagree with Kurt Herbstreit, I do agree with the one thing he said that Florida State needs to find those kids in state that love the game itself. They're not not excited about putting on a Florida State uniform, yeah, but they're not all about just the glitz and glamour. They're out there. They're wanting to play football and wanting to help turn it around. And I think there's players in the 19 and 20 class, and I think you saw some of that tonight with the younger guys who played that that want to compete and want to be successful.
What do you think, Austin?
There's a lot to think,
Mm-hmm.
but there's at this point we're repeating so much.
Yeah.
It's a whole bunch of soft guys that want to talk more on Twitter instead of backing it up on the field, and it sucks. It sucks to watch. It sucks to see. At this point, just like Nate said, get the young guys out there that want to fight. That's all I want to see the rest of the season. I don't want to see I don't want to see Durden touch the field again. I don't know about y'all.
I'll take 3 and 5 with the young guys playing and getting reps, because that's progress for next year.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think I'll say it right now. I think Marvin Wilson and Corey Durden and Teron Terry made a mistake on coming back this season.
I fully agree.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because Marvin had first-round grades, and now he's
Corey even had a chance in some ways. He most certainly would have made a practice squad.
He would have been a 5th or 6th round pick. But
he would have got drafted in 5th or 6th round.
Yeah.
Marv was a first-round pick, surefire, and now he's maybe a 3rd rounder, 4th rounder. After just 2 games, he made a mistake. Terry was probably going to be maybe late 3rd, early 4th, just because he didn't have a lot of tape.
But plus, it was a deep draft.
Yeah, it was a very deep wide receiver draft, and now he's looking undrafted. I mean, through 2 games, he's got 2 receptions, 3 receptions for
nothing,
15 yards.
Are y'all have the stat sheet thrown up on y'all's screen? Did he have a reception during this game?
No,
he had 5 against Georgia Tech, 5 for 56 yards.
And then he had 1 rush tonight for -4 yards, which was that stupid jet sweep, which we've already brushed over.
It's a wake up situation. I mean, I don't know if we can really call it a wake up situation anymore.
Yeah, I don't think it's that much of a wake up.
What do you think what do you guys say it is? What do you right now this program?
It's not much of a wake up. It's more of a humbling. People kept giving this program high expectations, and even we were guilty of it. We kept hearing, "Oh, this is how we're looking good in camp. We're going to be 7-4, 8-3."
Hey, gentlemen. I mean, at least me and Nate.
Hell no.
I mean, Austin's still going to get heat now after that game, but me and Nate predicted 8-3, and then Austin had 7-4. But I mean, all of us on this instant reaction are going to be completely embarrassed, obviously, and I think a lot of other people. But that's.
I don't give a shit about preseason. A lot of that is just talk. But we
have to. That's a part of our game.
Yes.
We have to internalize it. We have to give. That's our job. We have to give our predictions.
Whatever. But this is a hard dose of reality. That right now, Florida State is in that same time frame of 2005, 2006, when the end of an era was completely done, and right now we're even though the era was small for FSU, 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, let's give it that short amount of time. That's over, and FSU is in complete rebuild. And as much as it pains me to say that, FSU is in complete rebuild, like they were in 2006, 7, 8, 9. It's going to take that long to get back.
It may take even longer, honestly, because you got to get like we've said a couple times, you got to get all these guys out of the program, and these young guys, you got to build a winning mindset. It doesn't just come in; you have to build it up. It may take longer than. The
good thing is that they're all upperclassmen.
Yeah,
and their time is almost over. But the staff's going to have to recruit. And I'm not of the mindset that this recruiting class is awful. There's a lot of factors going on with COVID. This class is going to be, as a whole, not just Florida State. Any program across the country is going to be under evaluated. So we'll see what happens. But Florida State is in complete rebuild, and if tonight doesn't show you that, then I don't know what to tell you.
We should have been thinking that for the last 2 years, but we kept thinking, oh, we're Florida State. We could turn this around like that.
Oh, it's just coaching. It's just coaching.
Yeah, it's going to take so much. It's going to take a while.
Yes.
People need to actually start believing that instead of thinking it's a quick rebuild.
Yeah, no, it is, and that's the situation. And whenever we'll probably have Nate on, and obviously Austin, and our lead writer and editor Dustin Lewis. He actually just reminded me that Florida State didn't have a single sack. Obviously, throughout the whole offseason, it was hyped up about Florida State's defensive line heading into the season, and Florida State didn't record one single sack against Miami this evening. But like I was saying, I mean, we're gonna jump into this. I mean, this is probably going to be the next episode. We're probably going to jump in for, it might be an hour, 2 hours long, where we kind of just sit back and just discuss. I mean, there might not even be bullet points, but we kind of just discuss the situation at Florida State. At this point, all we can do is give an instant reaction to what just happened on Saturday night on prime time, national television. Of course, ESPN picks this game to go nationally, and this is what happens. Any last remarks, guys, before we get this out to everyone? Because I have initial last remarks if anyone wants to give their last. I mean, Austin, how many more days until basketball season?
Well, I guess it's technically Sunday, so 59.
He's got it down. He's got it down. I will say we do have I have already kind of figured that out heading into the third quarter. We are going to set up, if it's not this podcast, we're going to set up a fire Florida State basketball podcast. And you know what? I know a lot of people are listening to this and they're Florida State football guys and fans and listeners, but man, Florida State basketball is, you got to start giving respect to it. And right now, for the next couple of years, you're going to have to turn into being a full force basketball fan, because it's going to take, like we were just talking about, a couple of years before Florida State football gets it back together. And I'm trying to I always look at the positive. Look at me. I'm always trying to be optimistic about things. Try to find some optimistic thing. But
that's what I'll say. When you get that boosters email Monday morning asking for another $70, make sure it goes to basketball, not football.
That might be the case. But here we go. Let's run.
Here's my one thought.
Yeah, give your last remarks, guys.
Okay. There's not a defensive end on the roster who can play football at a consistent basis. There's no pass rush. You have linebackers who don't play well in space. Miami exploited the hell out of that tonight. This is a fix of players. This is a fix of the mental part of the game. This is going to take a long time. And if Florida State rolls out James Blackman ever again, all they're going to do is cuss for 8 straight hours on Twitter about how that will get me off the Norvell bus, is if James Blackman starts another game at Florida State. But my last thought is it's going to take 3 to 4 years for this to be fixed.
My only final reaction is to hell with Miami forever and always.
Mm-hmm. It's always, fuck Miami.
Yeah,
and
always.
their stupid chain and 3-finger ring and their all of it, and all the white cracker fan bases with their fake blinged out 305 Florida necklaces in the stands. I hope they all get.
Hold on.
I'm so glad we all saw that one Miami fan with a giant fake 305 chain. That was so incredible.
Oh man, nobody can get mad. Everybody, this is explicit, full PG-13 plus, right? This might be rated R podcast, but hey, this is how it is right now. Let's don't get all crazy and then the comments, but this is how Florida. This is the state right now. My last remarks are, before we end this podcast and get it out to you guys, is I predicted this game 34-21. I'm an idiot.
I said 27-23.
What did you prick? Wait.
Nate was
Wait, what did you
28-23.
predict?
I predicted 28-23.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
We really all thought, oh, it's a rivalry game. It'll be if only we scored 23 points. I would be a little bit happier right now. Instead of watching Al Thornton highlights tonight.
Watching basketball highlights. I don't blame you. I'm kind of down for that too. But my last remarks, I kind of predicted not only the score, but this team mentality-wise wasn't ready for a rivalry like this. A hot team like Miami being cocky and full force like they were coming off of a win on primetime TV against Louisville. It just wasn't going to be in the favor for Florida State. Definitely with not having Mike Norvell and everything else. I mean, a quarterback that's just, Florida State doesn't have a starting quarterback right now.
Mm-mm.
Florida State does not have a starting quarterback in Tallahassee. And
thanks, Jimbo and Willie. Appreciate you.
Yeah. I don't really know where to put this program right now. I really don't know because Miami isn't fully functional. I mean, Miami kind of looked like Florida State last year and the way they were making mistakes. And obviously they scored a good amount of points this year, but that wasn't hard for them. I mean, they were just kind of dicing from what Florida State was giving them, and it was easy. I just don't understand where this mentality is at a program. And I talked about that in our instant reaction against Georgia Tech, but I got to keep harping on it. I don't know when alpha dogs are going to start showing up. On Florida State's defense, that's what you expect in Tallahassee. Someone to step up, be a dog, make a play, make even a big hit, man. That gets Florida State's sideline a whole different attitude. And that's something Florida State has lacked for 2 to almost 3 years now. And it's becoming a huge problem. And this whole team is just out of sorts. Out of complete sorts. And we got to stop comparing these teams to Florida State's 2013, 2012, 2010. I mean, 11, blah, blah, blah. This is going to take a while, like Nate said. And, if it's got to be youth movement, if it's got to be cats that haven't seen a lot of playing time, get in there, let it do it. You got Jacksonville State coming up. You'll most likely see Chubba Purdy in there because he was warming up during the game against Miami, and he seems to be close to a time where he can get in there and get some playing time. But I just don't know where this team is mentality-wise. And I've got to think about Mike Norvell and what he's thinking about right now. Obviously, he didn't get to coach a game, but I just don't know the program where it's at. Marvin Wilson, Tamaron Terry will most likely see you in 2021.
I hope not.
I was going on a nice spiel there, Austin.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Hey,
I'm not, but I'm sorry.
Let's wrap this up, Logan. Okay, enough with the positivity. No,
you
were trying to be positive. It's called a spade a spade. This team fucking sucks. This program sucks. They're bottom tier ACC right now, which is almost unfathomable to think. But this program is broken, and it's a complete rebuild. And we have to cheer every small win as they rebuild that.
Mm-hmm. Before we end it off, Austin, how many days until basketball season you said?
59.
But yeah, we will probably thank you guys if you're listening still. Thank you for listening. We'll most likely have everybody back on definitely for our instant reaction. Nate and Austin, obviously our lead writer and editor, Dustin Lewis on, who knows who else, but we're probably going to spend a good amount kind of conversating this. I don't think there needs to be any kind of bullet points heading into next week's game whatsoever against Jacksonville State, but we'll probably have pretty much our own roundtable and kind of discuss on where this program's at, what's moving forward, what needs to change, what's becoming problematic in Tallahassee, and move on. But that's going to be our next episode. As always, you can listen to this podcast on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, Spotify. If you're on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you'll be notified every time we release a new episode. But you're listening to Hear the Spear, presented by Noel Game Day. I really appreciate everybody listening. And we hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Thank you, guys.